Eastman Kodak could soon be out of business. Officials with that 133-year-old photography company warned investors yesterday they may not be able to survive much longer.
Now to the uncertain future for Kodak as the Rochester-born company warns its debt may impact operation.
And now, to borrow another line from Paul Simon, Kodak can see the writing on the wall. It says there is substantial doubt the company, deep in debt, will survive.
The company, deep in debt, will survive.
Yeah, things were not looking good there for a bit. Specifically, almost like a full day. So, yeah, let's break it down. So, as many of you have seen this week, Kodak had supposedly put out some pretty disconcerting statements mentioning their future and potential lack thereof. Well, the news all comes from misinterpretations from Kodak's financial statement that came out about a week ago. Because Kodak is a publicly traded company with shareholders, they're required to have these financial recaps, some of which is great for transparency, not only for shareholders, but for us as consumers as well. Well, this opened the door for media outlets to be able to get a peek at this public financial document, and while completely misconstrue them, causing a bit of a panic and frenzy within the community. And yeah, these articles basically explained how Kodak was going under, film was going to go away forever, and how employees were losing out on their retirement plans. Some real doom and gloom stuff, which if you've been following along with the news on the channel, you'll know that this is kind of confusing because Kodak seemingly had been doing well and setting itself up for some hopefully good things in the future. A lot of misinterpretation of the financial reports made it sound like Kodak was in the hole $500 million, and the only way to recoup even some of that was by basically eliminating pension plans, which thankfully is not the case at all. It was enough panic to cause the actual share price to fall quite rapidly in a day, which goes to show the power of big media like that, especially when it's not harnessed correctly or accurately. I'll link the reports down in the description if you want to see some tip-top journalism, but to be honest, most of them are old news and fake news, I guess at this point, with Kodak releasing their own statement shortly after. It reads as the following. Media reports that Kodak is ceasing operations, going out of business, or filing for bankruptcy are inaccurate and reflect a foundational misunderstanding of a recent technical disclosure the company made to the SEC in its recently filed second quarter earnings report. These articles are misleading and missing critical context, and we'd like to set the record straight. The most important things to know are Kodak has no plans to cease operations, go out of business, or file for bankruptcy protection. To the contrary, Kodak is confident it will repay, extend, or refinance its debt and preferred stock on or before its due date. When the transactions we have planned are completed, which is expected to be early next year, Kodak will have a stronger balance sheet than we have had in years and will be virtually net debt free. The going concern disclosure is a technical report that is required by accounting rules. We will continue to meet our obligations to all pension fund participants. Kodak has been preparing for the pension plan termination for some time and expects to receive approximately $500 million in assets after meeting our obligations to all pension fund participants in December 2025 when the transaction closes. Approximately $300 million of the funds are expected to be cash and approximately $200 million are expected to be investment assets that will be converted into cash. Kodak currently has $477 million of term debt and $100 million of preferred stock outstanding. Kodak is required by its loan debts to use the $300 million of cash expected to be received in December to repay term debt. Kodak can then address the remaining $177 million of term debt and the $100 million of preferred stock. In addition to our focus on reducing debt and interest payments, we believe our business is stable and self-sustaining. In Q2 2025, we used only $3 million in cash, primarily to invest in growth initiatives, a significant improvement compared to quarter one, and we do not plan to rely on cash from the pension fund transaction to fund our operations. In short, Kodak is confident in its plan to meet all its obligations and optimistic about its future. For more detailed information about this topic, please review Kodak's Form 10-Q filed with the SEC on August 11th. Okay, yeah, that's the gist. Well, there you have it, a pretty mathematically simple but complex answer from Kodak that spells it out pretty straightforward, which to me is not that surprising. I actually had a whole script somewhat debunking this, but it's great to hear this from the horse's mouth itself, so yeah. If you've been watching the news on the channel for a while, then you know as well as I do that there's some things that sort of debunk this, and we'll go over that quick. First, Kodak last year had completely revamped and upgraded their film manufacturing facilities, which if they were scraping by, I doubt they would have poured all that cash into something that is bleeding money for them. Just doesn't make any sense. They also were ramping up their cinema and medical and chemical sales, so this just didn't make any sense either. And the thought of Kodak completely shutting down just seemed a bit lofty in my mind. They currently have this massive, functioning, and valuable manufacturing facility in Rochester, like I just said, that was recently upgraded. At the very least, turning raw materials into film, granted there is an interest in film, is obviously profitable. I mean, it is Kodak after all, a legacy brand who's been through many bankruptcies before and definitely knows how to navigate this. More so, I think if it really came to that, there would be some serious changes at Kodak, as well as some probably intense price hikes hikes from film before it vanished completely. Something I also thought was noteworthy was that Kodak's CEO got paid like $6 million or something this past year. So yeah, how would he be making that much money when they're doing that poorly? I don't know. It definitely happens, and this is America, but I would like to think that that wouldn't be the case. And obviously, it's not. Thankfully, this is much ado about nothing, and Kodak, as per their statement, literally is expected to do big things this year. So yeah, I'm excited on that. With film photography gaining new film stocks this year in Phoenix 2, NC200, and this new Lucky film, I would imagine Kodak has something up their sleeve. If these small manufacturers can figure out ways to globally manufacture and produce a new film stock by a much smaller and significantly less legacy brand, then Kodak can figure something new and innovative out as well, I'm sure. Otherwise, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up. Yeah, hopefully gives you some calm to the anxiety and worry I feel like that we've been seeing in the community about Kodak shutting down, and hopefully we'll be seeing a big quarter 3 and 4 here from Kodak. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think about this news. Were you duped, I guess, somewhat by the big media outlets that were reporting on this, or were you kind of in the same camp as me where I kind of was questioning the validity of this based on the stuff we've seen and what the financial report actually looked like, etc., etc. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Till the next one, stay safe, stay shooting. Adios.